pee so bad. If you're lucky, you'll get to see me pee in a bottle on this trip. Okay, everyone, we just had a great lunch with my sister and brother-in-law who live here in Denver. We landed at Centennial Field. Thank you, Jet Center of Colorado, for taking great care of us. Cheap fuel, great service, and an awesome restaurant at the top back there. I just had a salmon avocado toast. It was amazing. We're on our way to Cleveland, but we've decided we're going to do one stop in Gary, Indiana, and pick up some cheap fuel. And so we're going to do that in Gary and then make our way to Cleveland for the night. And our day will be over. So one stop down, 2 more stops to go. Patrick is inside, scratching in the litter box, and he'll be out in a minute.
Check 12121.
Beautiful. All right, 424 Sierra Mike, clear to the Gary Airport via the plane 1. Mike, Charlie, Kilo, transition direct. Speed 132.75, squawk 0634.
Evolution 40 Mike, reback correct.
Okay, so on our way to Gary, Indiana, we have some show tunes trivia for you. What famous American musical features a song about Gary, Indiana? Leave in the comments below.
Evolution 424 Sierra Mike, Centennial Tower, runway 35 right, left point. November 4 Sierra Mike, turn right heading 125, runway 35 right, clear for takeoff. This ahead is northwest bound.
And that's a clear for takeoff for 424 Sierra Mike.
Evolution 4 Sierra Mike, affirmative, turn right heading 125.
Okay, we're currently departing Colorado, Centennial Field, Colorado, which is basically Denver. It's pretty much completely flat between here and Gary. We'll bring you back if there's any interesting sights. What was the question you asked?
I asked the question, how did you start your company and how did it actually start?
I used to work for a company that created the California AIDS ride at the time, now called the California Life Cycle, a multi-day bike ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles that raised money for HIV and AIDS. It is still to this day an incredible event, and even back then it was game-changing for AIDS research. In 2001, the company that produced that ride went out of business, and I was originally the IT person, and I was faced with a choice of going back to IT or maybe dipping my toe in this fundraising waters, which I was so intrigued by and inspired by. So I went to this little hospital in Toronto, and I told them I would create a 2-day walk for breast cancer, and I would raise $8 million for them. No event in Toronto history at that time no single event had raised $8 million. And so, of course, they were very excited and intrigued and told me that if I could convince the entire board to vote for this, that they would support me. And so I came back a week later. I pitched the idea of the Weekend to End Breast Cancer to the board of directors of a hospital in Toronto, and they unanimously said yes. I went home. I hired my dad as my accountant, a friend as my marketing guy, and another friend as logistics. And we started that year off and created the first ever Weekend to End Breast Cancer. Even though we promised to raise $8 million, we did not raise $8 million. We raised $12.7 million, which, of course, the expectations were low and the performance was high, so everyone was incredibly excited, including myself. So we worked for cancer research institutes all around the world and raised over $1 billion for them, for their research, and it was incredible. But one day I was at a ski resort with some friends, and my friend Jeff asked me if I ever thought about selling my company. And I said, I can sell this company? Went home that Monday, hired an accounting firm, got my books audited, hired an investment banker that investment banker pitched my company to 6 private equity funds, 5 made offers. I picked a great one, and I sold my company in 2013.
And the company was born in 03, you said?
02.
02.
Yeah, 2002 we started, sold it in 2013, stepped down as CEO in 2016, and really never looked back. The baby that I raised did $1 billion for cancer research. Incredibly high number that I'm proud of.
As you should. What was your prior employment before that?
So I was an IT guy before. So look, I mean, my story is pretty simple. I barely graduated high school. I went to college for 2 weeks and decided it wasn't for me. My dad was a rocket engineer, as you might have heard earlier, designing turbo pumps for the Saturn project and Gemini project. When he was done working at Rockwell, which is now also Boeing, he did his own computer company, and he wrote the very first ever computer program that ran car dealerships, used car dealerships. So I was my dad's technician at Automate, and I ran around installing computers.
United 2431.
So I was my dad's technician at his company. Cut. So I was my dad. These need to make the blooper loop. Okay, so I was my dad's technician for Automate, which ran car dealerships. So I ran around most of Southern California and Southern Nevada installing computer systems in car dealerships. And an interesting group of people, car dealers. That sort of spawned my IT career, which was slightly derailed by needing to go to rehab. So I went to rehab in 1995, yay. Been sober 27 years, almost 28 years. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for cordially inviting me to that rehab in Pasadena. It worked out great. And then my IT career was fun, and I during the .com era, I worked for a bunch of startups, had so many stock options that ended up being worth nothing, but the experience I got was incredible. So what you didn't hear was how Patrick got to America from Brazil in a canoe. It's such a great story. We'll cover that on the next leg.
Exactly. Passing Cuba was really hard.
They were going 312 knots over the ground. How many miles per hour is that? 312 knots. Put it in the comments below. How many miles per hour is that? Oh, and if you're curious what this fantastic ring is, no, Patrick did not propose to me. So it would be worth it. But what this is it constantly checks my blood oxygen when we're at altitude, which I want to try to keep above 90. If it's below 90, it starts to vibrate to make me aware that I need to do something to get oxygen into my system.
Oh, and this time, one of our waypoints on our arrival is called Hot Dog.
Hot Dog.
I'm a big fan of these like weird waypoint names. In Orlando, all of them have like names of Disney characters.
It's similar with LA. The Iron Man arrival, and you FAA guys and gals. Clear direct Hot Dog, and you said 5 miles in front of Hot Dog at 4,000, 1440 Mike.
Yep, thank you.
I'm just going to go ahead and vertical speed us down.
Chicago approach, good evening. Evolution 424 Sierra Mike, 5,700 descending 4,000. We have information alpha.
424 Sierra Mike, Chicago approach, Bravo at Gary now. The midway altimeter is 3009er. You should direct Gary for the visual approach runway 12.
Direct Gary for the visual 12 will get Bravo 3009. I can see the lake. Oh, you can see downtown too. It's a pretty day here too.
Air 4 Sierra Mike, call Gary in sight, 12 o'clock, 8 miles.
Inside 4 Sierra Mike.
Air 4 Sierra Mike, clear visual approach runway 12, contact Gary Tower 125.6.
Clear visual 12 over to tower 4 Sierra Mike. Good day.
That's pretty.
I love the downtown.
Igniters are on. Landing gears down and locked. Turret approach. Gonna do a quick turnaround here.
welcome to Gary, Indiana. It's our second stop of the day. We have one more until we reach Cleveland. It's just a quick fuel and pee stop, and then we'll be on our way. So we just tried to fill the emergency oxygen system with oxygen, but their system didn't have any oxygen in it, so that did not work. So we're gonna try to find some tomorrow when we're in Cleveland.
Okay, ground 4-0 Mike, we're ready to taxi.
4-0 Mike, roger. Stand by. You can proceed on Alpha 5, and then Alpha hold short of Charlie.
Alpha 5, then Alpha hold short of Charlie, 4-0 Mike.
Yeah, for runway 12, sorry I didn't say that. For my brother's a twin, exiting Alpha 5, going to 12, just give way to the twin, then park via Charlie.
Not a twin, but thanks.
We just departed Gary, Indiana, which is just east of Chicago, headed towards our final destination of Cleveland, Ohio. Ohio, my home state, but not Cleveland. Way fancier, Dayton. Look it up, people. We have Outback Steakhouses, Red Lobsters. You can eat pasta at Olive Garden.
I was born hungry, but I was born Italian. So that never happened again.
Some top-notch shit.
And so as predicted, right, we were not able to fill up the oxygen in Gary, so we are on a altitude that's much lower than we would want to be, but it's a short flight, so at this altitude we're at 11,000 feet. It's going to take us, we haven't even got to our cruise speed, so it's increasing now, but it's already showing 1 hour and 14 minutes, so it's going to be barely maybe an hour. And at this altitude, even if we did lose cabin pressure, we would be totally fine and we could breathe normally at this altitude. So we don't even have to have the oxygen, the mask on us right now.
Maxigen, it's a Brazilian word which means max oxygen.
Maxigen.
Flying a pressurized airplane, so we obviously hope for pressure. We don't count on it. We have our masks nearby. We don't need it right now, because even if we lost pressurization, we wouldn't turn this on. Well, I will say, I'm excited about Cleveland. We're going to turn off the cameras for now. We'll dial them back in on our approach. Air traffic control is flying us over Lake Erie. We're going to vector us to final, and so we'll land on runway 24, hopefully 24 right, which is the big fat runway.
Well, now I hope that we depart runway 24 tomorrow morning, so we get to see the buildings on the outside camera.
Yeah, we can ask for a loop. We do a loop around Cleveland. Some good buildings in Cleveland.
Nice and sturdy.
Nice wide anchors, sorry. From Ohio, I'm allowed. I'm from Ohio. I too have nice wide ankles.
Okay, everyone, we are in Cleveland, Ohio. We just checked into the Hilton. Compliments of co-pilot Patrick. Thank you, Patrick.
Yep.
He organized that for us because I was overloaded with tasks. So now we're going to walk and get some sushi and eat some dinner, maybe do some flight planning for tomorrow. Tomorrow's day, where are we going tomorrow?
Montreal from here,
Oui.
and then from Montreal we go to Goose Bay, Canada.
Quack, quack.
The first leg is actually no problem, right? I think we can get in very easily. The second leg is the one that might be some complications due to weather, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll do our best. It's all about the adventure, and so far the adventure has been great. Today was an awesome day with good weather. Got to have breakfast with my sister and brother-in-law. Patrick got to meet them. We had to solve some technical issues that we were having with our cameras. Thank you, Patrick.
Yep.
And yeah, and go to where do we just go?
We're walking
Oh,
right now.
Gary, Indiana.
Oh yeah.
Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, you had a whole-
Not Louisiana, Paris, France, New York, or Rome, but Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana. Gary,
have a
Indiana.
whole quiz
My
about it.
home, sweet home. Peace.